All right. Welcome to Hella Vella, Eric's first 3 Vella reviews. I am your host, Airik Eisen, and this is Azrielle Lawless. And today we are speaking with Azrielle Lawless about a Vella called Gin. I'm going to mess it up. Gindlina. Yeah, I totally messed up. The Good Witch of the West. Okay. Um, just so you know, these episodes are a little long. Azrielle, do you have any other Vella offerings as well?
Yes, I do. I have several other villas up on Vella right now. I have several other stories.
Excellent. All right. And what are they called? What genres are they? And how many episodes do they have?
Well, that's a big question for me since I have 6.
Okay.
Um, I'll go quickly. Most of them are in the fantasy genre, and a couple of them in the urban fantasy. So I'll start with Naughty Witches Finishing Academy. That one's an urban fantasy
Okay.
with paranormal romance elements. Then there is one called The Agent. That one is an urban fantasy also. Same deal, a few romantic elements, but that's not the main deal of the story. And let's see, then there's one that I co-write with a romance writer. That's a straight up paranormal romance, and that's written under a different pen name, so I'm not even sure. Yeah, I guess I should go ahead and mention that. And that one's called Dark Wings Eternal. And then there is one that just jumps the shark completely. It is a oh my God, what is it called? A lit RPG. So it's
Um,
like a role playing inside of a game, and and that's what it has to do with, is not really role playing, but somebody dies and goes into a video game. There you go.
oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. And okay, so fair warning to the audience. This may be a little spoilery. For most of these, I will only read the first 3 chapters, so maybe not that spoilery. Now, could you tell the audience a little bit about this Vella and what drove you to write it?
I really love Westerns, especially the modern stuff that's coming out, especially in the last couple of years. It's like the ones that have been come out during the pandemic, and the new voices that are in the modern Western.
Mm,
I don't know, I just got excited and wanted to write my own thing that had not just the elements of being a Western, which haven't even come in yet in my story,
right.
but also magic. And I wanted to set it up somewhere where the focus wasn't the horses and wasn't the saloons and wasn't the common stuff. And I set it up so that you got to know the family in vanilla pudding, basically just in a city like anybody else.
So that's that's probably for the best. All right. What what can you tell me about each main character?
What can I tell you about Gindlina?
Well, yeah, well, Gindlina, and then we have Miss Abrams and Katya, and well, I guess we can't mention him because he's not really in the first 3 episodes, but
Who do you want? What do you want me to tell you about?
just a little bit about their characters and maybe their uh, like where those characters came from in your own head. And
Well, Gindlina, I think, is who I wish I would be, you know, who I
okay.
wish I had been as a young woman. Uh, I think she represents the alternative perfect me,
I
and
gotcha.
how I think I would have reacted in that period. Except she's magical and she can do all kinds of magical stuff. So, and the Harry Potter stuff never worked for me either. So, that's Gindlina is basically, wishful thinking. And then let's see, her mom, I just see, honestly, I see my daughter in my mind's eye, who's a very good mom. And her father, I just sort of made him out of a composite of
great quality.
sort of dapper Russian men, dapper Eastern Bloc dudes.
Gotcha.
Tall, slender, long fingers. But to me, I mean, until they flesh out, which will be later, I try very hard not to hit anybody with a fire hose about any kind of details on characters. So right now they're just, if you think of them as windsock people, well, they're just coming up off of the little, it'll be a while before they stand up and wave like they're supposed to. But the characters just come alive in my head. I don't know how it works for other writers, but they just kind of walk in, and they reveal themselves to me at the same time as I'm revealing them to you. And it's very fascinating because I love to live in that world, and it's pretty cool. So there's where the characters came from. 3 ones that I can think of that are in chapters 1, 2, and 3. I guess there's also Harold, who becomes important later, her little friend at school. You find out later that this fight of theirs, this was a rare thing. They had gotten this had just gone too far, and so everybody automatically thinks that he's her enemy because of what happened in episode 1, but they weren't prior to that.
Okay.
It just hasn't come up. So yeah, anyway.
All right. And so since this is a review, let's flip this around and have you ask me questions.
Yes, that's what I want to do, because that's what I'm supposed to do. Now, see, we're going to do this show, you guys. This show is only going to work if you authors want to sit in this chair, okay, and talk about your stories. Now, in order to get the recordings uploaded to Vella, in order to expedite that, I have to kind of be over in the background. But I'm not really going to be in the background. I'll be over here. I'll probably interject stuff. We don't know what I'm going to do yet. I might fall asleep. I might turn my thing to just my name. Who knows what we're going to do? But what we really want to do is we want to feature Airik over here reviewing your stories and interacting with you. So that is what we propose to do, is basically this next thing we're going to do here. You would be doing this instead of me. It's coming off a script. Airik is very good about that stuff. So here we go. So Airik, who was your favorite character?
My favorite character in the first 3 episodes, which is all we're talking about right now, is definitely the main character. Gindlina, she's a young witch. She's just discovering herself and her powers, and I think that's amazing. And she does some really funny things throughout the first 3 episodes that I think other people will just love.
Well, I thank you for that. It really excites me. I love Gindlina. She has come to life. She is certainly not the best kid on the block. She's got sassy parts, and she's got defiant parts, and She seems real to me. So, what was your favorite part of the first three?
My favorite part of the first three is definitely when Gindlina takes a piece out of her bully. And my other favorite part is whenever that secret is revealed. I don't want to be too spoilery, so I'm not going to tell them what that is.
Ah, okay.
And
Okay.
pretty well after that, I have read this a little bit further, but my favorite character after that is definitely um, Evgeny. That's how you
Yevgeny.
say that. Evgeny,
Yevgeny.
yeah.
It's the
And
Russian form of Eugene.
okay, yeah, Evgeny is amazing. I love him so much. Uh, but you have to read past the first three episodes to even talk to him
Oh,
or
well,
listen
thank
or
you.
see him. But yeah, that's what that is.
I'm glad you liked it. Well, let's see. There's always something that didn't work, and there
Mhm.
are things that do work, I think. So maybe could you let me know what did work for you and what didn't work?
What did work? The world building was great. There was a lot of little things in there that said this is like our world, but there are differences, and I love that. Um,
Thank you.
as far as what didn't work, um, well, there really wasn't all that much that I thought didn't work. There was, um, hmm, oh well, kind of, sorta the reaction between um, Gindlina's mom and her bully's mom or her bully's dad. At first, that didn't work, but it's kind of explained, but not really in that chapter. Um, but yeah, I mean, at first that didn't work for me, but then I was like, well, she's supposed to be like completely and totally, absolutely beautiful, and I've seen jerk faces, which is what uh, Mr. Piglet is like, just just turn into a cream pudding because he sees a beautiful woman. So I mean, it's not a big thing, but that is one thing that at first, in my first reading through, it didn't really work for me. But I read it again and I was like, okay, yeah, I just missed something, I guess.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, if you had a chance, how would you change it? Or what would you change?
Oh, that actually reminds me. Okay, so one other thing, um, I didn't really read the description, which is bad on me. So I wasn't really sure when and where it was. Um, so I'd probably try to be more specific about where they are and when they are. But other than
Thank you
that, I
for
think
that.
that's perfectly fine.
I think I'm going to just put that at the head of the chapter in italics. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
New
but
York
that
City, 1845,
that that's
December.
literally the was the only change that I would even dream of making on that.
And
Um,
that's all it would need to
yeah,
set the
I think
scene,
so too.
really.
I think so too.
Yeah. So thank you for that, really.
No problem.
So on a scale of 1 to 5, what would be your overall rating for it?
I definitely would rate this a 5. Um, and I know this question's coming up, but I had a really good time reading it, and that's what is most important to me. And there wasn't a bunch of weird stuff that was like pulled me out of the story. And so if you keep me in the story, I am 100% happy.
Oh, excellent. Well, I thank you for that. So you've already said I was going to ask you. That's the next question on my script here. Was it a fun read?
It was a
You've already
fantastic
said
read.
yes.
I absolutely loved it.
Well, wonderful. Thank you so much. What were your favorite bits of lore, like things that are true in that world that are not maybe true in ours?
Um, Bits of lore. Okay, so the eyes thing is amazing. I love that the magical people have different what different colors of eyes of what the normal people have. I think they called them norms at some point, and I love that part. And come to think of it, I also love I can't remember what you called it, something bile or something that poisons somebody if you bite them. I think that is hilarious.
Oh, Bane spittle.
Bane spittle, yes. And which I guess I should have said spoiler warning before that, but
No, well, they get that so soon. I don't really call that one a spoiler.
but yeah, I thought that was hilarious because I can't tell you how many fights I was in whenever I was a kid where if I could have just bit them.
We would have been done with this sooner,
Yeah,
much
yeah.
sooner. Well,
But
that's cool. So
yeah,
you
no.
like the fact that they have green, purple, and orange eyes
Oh, I
if they're
love that.
magical.
I think
I'm so
that is the
happy.
best.
I'm so happy. So right now is the random Q&A portion. So you guys, what I kind of envision is that I would ask Airik the questions that I just got through with about your book while you're sitting there. And then at this part, I'm going to turn it over to you and say, ask him 2 random questions besides this script here that we're going through. And 2 random questions that I would ask are, let's see, did you find the action and the dialogue? Well, let's just break it down. Did you find the dialogue believable?
I did. I actually didn't have a time where I was like, ugh, please rewrite this. And I even like some of the really top notch writers, there is dialogue where I'm like, are you kidding me?
Well, it's very important, and I thank you for that. So let's see. It's really rough in the first 3 episodes because honestly, when you're 66,000 words down the road, your first 3 episodes are a long way
Yeah.
behind you. But mm. And you didn't trip over any of the sort of Russian words or references. They were explained enough.
Uh yeah, for the most part. There was, I mean, you pretty much would use a Russian word, except I think in one instance, which is in a much later chapter, and then you would explain what that word meant. And I think the one instance in the later chapter was probably explained in an earlier chapter, but because I
Yeah,
read them on different days, I kind of
right,
forgot.
right, right. You can't remember your name when you wake up. I'm the same way.
Yeah.
Wake up to a new world every single morning.
No, that's kind of how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to start the day fresh or
That's
whatever.
right. That's right. Get a new perspective on life. Okay. So this is the new show for Hella Vella. This is Airik Eisen over this. But what I know is that when this thing is processed, if I go like this is Airik Eisen. Now I'm pointing at him. This is Airik Eisen. And he will read your first 3 episodes
Yep.
and get on a Zoom call with you like this with me. I'll ask him questions about your book. We'll learn about your book, your first 3 episodes, and what he thought of them. And then you'll get to ask him a couple of questions here at the end, just off the cuff. Okay. So this has been our, what shall we call it? Shall we call it sample episode?
Yes. And also I wanted to do the outro just to see how it sounds.
All right.
So now all of Azrielle's Vellas will be linked below. So you can go and check those out, not just the one that we talked about today. If you want if you want more from me, you can check into my psychological horror, Jacked, my urban fantasy, The Fearless Adept, or the anthology I did with some fellow Vella authors. Season 1 is Horrors of SynteTech Anthology. Season 2 is Life After Death. And Season 3 is If Time Moved Both Ways. And those are all by the Vellens Florilegium. If you are interested in becoming a Vellen writer, you can find us on Facebook by searching the word Vellens, that is Vellains, or check out our website at vellens.com. And also there is my dark fantasy, which is not written on the script for some reason, called Maiden Bloom: The Age of Myths, Book 1. All right.
I might mention he wrote the script. I'm just gonna throw that out there in case you people thought I dissed him and missed something. No, I didn't.
No, it was all me. I am changing it now.
All right, well, let's let these people go.
All righty. Have a good day.
Signing
Enjoy.
off. This is us. And like I said, this is what it will be. And we'd love for you to go ahead and hit me up with a message if you want to be a guest on this show.